Hey, my name's Tyler Shaheen. I'm one of the teachers here at Domestika. I just wanted to jump in here and give you a little tip and trick that is one of the most helpful things you can make to get the best use out of just your regular everyday circular saw like I have here. There are some specific tools out there called track saws, which essentially have this same feature built into it, but this is just a cheaper way around that you can do with your regular circular saw. What this is going to allow me to do is make really accurate cuts and clean straight cuts on a line that I'm going to mark. I just have a couple pieces of scrap wood, and then you also need to know the distance on your circular saw between the inside of the blade and the outside fence. So on this one, it's about 4 inches. And what I'm going to do is take this base plate piece right here. I'll measure technically a little more than 4 inches. So I'll just do, say, 4 1/4 on one side, and then 4 1/4 down here. Once I have my lines marked, I'll take my other piece of scrap wood, line them up on these lines, clamp it down, and then screw this in place. And just a note, this doesn't have to be perfectly parallel with this outside edge because we're going to cut this off. Just take my drill and do some counter holes or some pilot holes. And then go back in and drive some screws. All right, so now that I have my fence screwed down in place, I'm going to take my circular saw, and all I'm going to do is make sure that I have this the depth of my material, and I'll keep the circular saw tight up against this fence and run my cut to cut this outside edge off. Just using this piece to set it up on so I don't cut into the table here. Make sure you put on some safety glasses and then run your initial cut. So technically now we have our jig made. This is just a small one. You can make this as big as you need it to be. Let's say you're breaking down your plywood, you get a square, you make your reference line, and in order to get a clean cut on that reference line, all you do is you take the jig that we just made, you'll put it right there on your line, clamp it down or tape it down or screw it down to your workpiece, and you take your circular saw, adjust your depth a little bit, and then you run your cut. These jigs specifically are something that I use in my shop pretty often. They're very helpful, and it just makes the whole process of using a circular saw really easy. It's just good if you're duplicating cuts. It's a lot quicker, and it just takes a couple minutes. I hope that's helpful, and if you're looking for more woodworking tips and tricks, make sure you check out my course on Domestika.